This video is one of several that is going to talk about the English language development standards and the framework that are used in Minnesota in order to meet state standards that are connected to this course. There's a lot there, and so some of it is going to be in other videos as well, as I'll talk about briefly. So Minnesota is part of I'm not sure if it's pronounced WIDA or if it's WIDA, but it is a framework that is a multi-state coalition. It is based at UW-Madison. And our focus, because of who is taking this course, is on grades 4 through 12. Specifically, it's on grades 5 through 12. But the way that it's divided up varies from topic to topic, but typically it is often K3 is one grade range and 412 is the other. And our focus then will be on 412. That should be is, not on. And what I want to start with this video about is the broad category of language for social and instructional purposes. Now, in follow-up videos, I'm going to talk about specific content areas, but those are videos you only are going to need to listen to or watch based on what your content area actually is. So that will include later videos. There will be a follow-up video that is specifically for language arts, in other words, for communication arts and literature. There will be a follow-up video specifically for math, one for science, and one for social studies. The information in this video is for everybody, including PE and health teachers, music teachers, art teachers, CTE teachers, as well as teachers of those content areas I mentioned before, because this is the broad category of standards of language use for social and instructional purposes. So this is both language use for social purposes in our classes and also for whatever it is we're teaching. And there are 4 categories: narrate, inform, explain, and argue. And those are categories that apply to all content areas. So to narrate, all of these start with multilingual learners will. So they're like objective statements. They will share ideas about their own and others' lived experiences and past learning. They will connect stories with different types of visuals to help them add meaning to the stories. They will identify and ask questions about information that might be unexplained or missing or left unsaid. They will recount and restate ideas in order to move the discussion forward. And finally, for narrate, they will be able to create closure, like a conclusion, in other words, to recap, such as to recap a story, to recap what they just said, to recap what they just listened to, and offer next steps. What should we do next? The next broad category is inform. And again, multilingual learners, in order to inform, will define and classify facts and interpretations and determine what is known or unknown. Is something known or is it unknown? They will report on both explicit characteristics and inferred characteristics or patterns or behavior. They will describe the parts and whole of a system. So you might think of this as a health example, the parts and the whole of the circulatory system, of the respiratory system. You can probably think of other systems in your content areas. They'll be able to sort, clarify, and summarize relationships between things. And they'll be able to summarize the most important aspects of the information. You could think of that almost like not almost like, it's like a learning log. What did you learn today? What is the most important thing you got out of class today? What is the most important thing you got out of this specific discussion, out of this video that you viewed, out of this article or chapter or section that you read, or that was read to you? The next one is explain. Multilingual learners will be able to generate and convey their initial thinking, so explain what they're thinking about something. They will follow and describe cycles and sequences of steps or procedures and the causes and effects of those steps and procedures, of those steps anyway. or those procedures, I guess, effects of the procedures, causes of the steps, maybe. They'll be able to compare changing variables, factors, and circumstances. They will offer alternatives to extend or deepen awareness of factors that contribute to particular outcomes. And that should be on. They will act on feedback to revise understanding of how or why something is, or how or why something works in a particular way. And the final area is argue. Multilingual learners will generate questions about different perspectives. They will support or challenge an opinion, a premise, or an interpretation. They will clarify and elaborate ideas based on feedback. They will evaluate changes in thinking, identifying trade-offs. In other words, right, if we are choosing something else, if we're thinking about something else, there's often positive and negatives about, say, doing something in a different way, about making a different choice. And they'll be able to refine their claims and reasoning based on new information or evidence. So again, this is the language expectations um, in this broad grade range of grades 4 through 12, so essentially middle school and high school. Fourth grade is considered middle school in some states. It is not in Minnesota, and I don't think it is in Wisconsin either. At least it wasn't when I went to school there, but it is in some states, and that might be one reason why they specifically go grades 4 through 12. There might be other reasons as well, but anyway, so this is for everyone. Thank you for watching this video. If you are a student who is getting their endorsement for either middle school and or secondary communication arts literature, or math, or science, or social studies, please also watch the follow-up video that is specifically about that content area. Thanks for watching this one.